Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only Hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Hosting Cruz, and guys, I am here to talk about an intriguing matchup, and likely at 168 pounds. Well, in terms of money, it's in boxing is a business, and in terms of money, this fight will do great numbers. Canelo Alvarez versus Jake Paul has been mentioned today that the fight is likely done based on Eddie Hearn. Canelo Alvarez, Jake Paul is one of the biggest fights in boxing, and based on what he's heard, it's a done deal. So, and this is from Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. This morning I saw that this fight, the Canelo versus Crawford fight, is completely off. And then this fight picked up, and negotiations picked up, and we're likely to have Canelo Alvarez versus Jake Paul sometime in May, I believe. That's the date that they're looking for. Pretty. Two of the biggest names right now. Well, Jake Paul is a big name in boxing because of what he's done for boxing in terms of promotion, business, helping fighters like Amanda Serrano with their careers, bringing so many boxing gyms to Puerto Rico, opening up a lot of gyms. So he's given back in a lot to the sport in so many ways. But in terms of stepping in there with high caliber professional fighters, he has not done that. And anytime he steps in there with a pro boxer, it's either a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, or MMA guys like Nate Diaz, Tyron Woodley twice, Anderson the Spider Silva, even though Silva was coming off a 8-round decision outboxing Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And he fought Ben Askren, who was known as a grappler, not a boxer, and Nate Robinson, who was an NBA basketball legend. So Jake Paul took advantage of those guys, man. His real fight, the only real fight he's ever had in his career was against Tommy Fury, and that was a true, legit professional fighter in his prime, young, and he lost by split decision in a close fight, in a fight that I thought he actually won because it was a close fight, and Jake Paul actually dropped Tommy Fury in that fight. It is what it is. He lost by split decision. After that, he just kept fighting MMA guys, old Mike Tyson. So here he is now in negotiations to fight arguably the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world, 4-division world champion, undisputed at 168, total of 66 fights, has been in there in the pro ranks since 15 years old. 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 KOs. Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, one of the biggest draws, if not the biggest draw in the history of the sport. So when you combine the biggest draw in the history of the sport in professional fighting, boxing, and then you got a huge draw and following in Jake Paul, you got incredible pay-per-view numbers coming out of this. Now, in terms of competition, in terms of the fight, Canelo Alvarez is likely to give Jake Paul the worst beating of his life. Jake Paul has a lot to worry about against Canelo Alvarez. The feints, the left hooks to the body, the looping overhand right, the defense, the footwork, just so much pro experience here. And Jake Paul, you got to give him credit for even negotiating a fight like this, because even though he's 11-1 and 7 KOs, and he's a big young guy, man, strong, those 12 fights he's had, man, is not enough to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's likely going to take he's going to likely get hurt in this fight, the real way, knockout. I just can't see him go the distance with Canelo Alvarez. And this fight, the most rounds that Jake Paul has ever done, I think, was 8 rounds. He fights Canelo Alvarez, he's going to have to go 12 rounds. And that's not... And Jake Paul has a history of fading in fights. So if this fight goes through, Jake Paul's going to have to deal with the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world, the most complete boxer in the world, 12 rounds, 3 minutes. Can't afford to fade. And yeah, this fight, it's likely to happen based on word, based on what's going on out there. In terms of pay-per-view, it's gonna do great. It's gonna do great. Both guys have a big following. Jake Paul is very famous. A lot of people are gonna tune in. A lot of people are gonna tune in. Even Eddie Hearn said he'll watch it. He'll watch it because it's intriguing. You got two um, big followers in the ring, and it's gonna do good in pay-per-view number. But in terms of fight, man, is a big mismatch in my opinion. And true non-casual boxing fans will agree that this is a huge mismatch. Um, Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is a fight that we all wanted to see. They say it's off for now. Maybe it was supposed to be for September. That's a long time from now. So maybe Canelo Alvarez is taking Jake Paul as a warm-up. If not, well, either way, the fight is likely to happen. Like I said, you gotta give respect to Jake Paul for taking this fight negotiation, taking it serious. And Jake Paul has said in the past that he wants to be a world champion, regardless of his resume. Right now, he wants to be a world champion. He wants to take this serious, and he has mentioned Canelo Alvarez's name in the past. So. But it's one thing to mention a name and the other is to actually go through with the fight and sign off and all that stuff. Because that's coming based on what I've seen and read. And Jake Paul, when it comes to being serious, he's serious, you know. And the thing is now with Canelo Alvarez actually entertaining a Jake Paul fight is intriguing because Canelo Alvarez, the pride he has, the accomplishments of a fighter he is, to entertain a Jake Paul, it's interesting. So yeah, I'm tuning in obviously to see what happens, to see how Jake Paul can handle Canelo Alvarez. Will he be able to handle Canelo Alvarez with 12 rounds? That's a bit too much in my opinion. But he's going to go in there. He's young, like I said. He's strong. He has good punching power. And one thing about Jake Paul, he has definitely sharpening his craft, man. He's been in a gym. He's sharpening his craft. He's developed a really good jab, good right, good 1-2. So he's taking boxing serious. He's been in the gym and practicing and dedicating his craft to boxing. So he's taking this serious, but it's Canelo Alvarez, guys. This is not a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, 58-year-old Canelo Alvarez. No MMA. This is a guy that takes things serious, takes this sport serious. He's one of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time, future Hall of Famer. The list goes on and on. So Canelo Alvarez versus Jake Paul. Pay-per-view numbers, great. Fight itself. Jake Paul. I don't know, man. But you got I give you respect for negotiating this fight and wanting this fight, you know. So we'll see what happens. Canelo Alvarez versus Jake Paul. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about this fight. Is Jake Paul making the biggest mistake of his life? I'll tell you what, these two guys are going to get paid some serious money coming out of this fight because the pay-per-view numbers are going to do great. You know, the attendance, a lot of people are going to walk in there. The gate is going to be tremendous. It's going to have a big crowd as well, you know. Big crowd, a lot of people watching at home. You know, so it's a big event. It's a big event. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Wilson Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It is always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.